Yes, thank you. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. Is a beautiful time to be here once again. We want to appreciate all our viewers back home. Is another segment of Sir Tim's Media Weekly Talk Show, and today we shall be looking at a very important topic at our disposal, and we also have a wonderful guest that will be talking to each and every one of us this evening. We want to appreciate you for spending a little time and for joining us this evening. So we want you to just comment and let us know where you are joining from. We really appreciate you telling us where you're joining from. Thank you for joining us. Let's know where you're joining from, please. Thank you. Our media team, they'll be ready to actually bring out your write up so that everybody can actually see it. So it's nice having each and every one of us here this evening. I'm really glad and I'm happy that we are here this evening. So it's going to be a wonderful time from my studio here in Sir Tim's Media, Sir Tim-Osa Media, and it's a weekly talk show that I've been on for quite a number of time now. So we are trusting God, and we are sure that the session today will be something that will enrich each and every one of us. So last week we dealt with the issues of social media and how it has actually dealt with our youth and our young boys and girls out there. So this evening we're looking at the educational system in Nigeria. Who are we to blame? That's a wonderful topic, and we will have somebody in our midst this evening that he is an astute scholar. Is a person that I have known for quite a number of time now. He is one that is not reserved when it comes to telling the truth. So he will be speaking to us this evening, and I know and I'm very sure that he's not going to reserve anything at all. So he will be speaking to us and telling us the causes of the educational backwardness, the causes of the educational sadness in Nigeria. Quite a number of time now, I think a few days back, University of Benin students celebrated 100 days at home due to the strike and its issue. So that's sad to hear, I must say. So if you're joining us, just tell us where you are joining from. Thank you for joining us this evening. We have with us this evening someone that I can actually call a brother, and is a first class graduate of a university in Nigeria, which is coming to tell each and every one of us. And also, he has tasted what it means to be a graduate in Nigeria, and also what it means to be a graduate here in the United Kingdom. So he has tasted both the educational system at home, and also he has tasted the educational system here in the United Kingdom, in the Western world, I must say. So he is the right person for this job this evening, to tell us his experiences, to tell us what he has learned, to tell us the way out. And we know that after this evening segment, each and every one of us will go back home smiling. So if you have not subscribed to our various channels, I want to plead with each and every one of us, let's subscribe to our various channels as Tim-Osa Media Limited. So you just quickly subscribe if you've not done that on YouTube, and also on Facebook, Tim-Osa Media. You just quietly subscribe and also turn on the notification button, so that next time when we are on air, you will be notified. So this evening, joining me this evening will be a man from the northern part of Nigeria, a politician, pastor, and somebody that does not reserve the truth. So it's no other person than Ijabla Papka Pius. Ijabla, good evening.
Good evening, Sir Tim-Osa Media. How are you?
I'm okay. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
And hope you're having a nice day.
Oh yeah, I'm having a wonderful day. The temperature is very cool. I think 11 degrees Celsius here in the city
Wow.
of Glasgow.
So how was service today?
It was great, wonderful. This I would have loved to talk about the message, but this is not for preaching.
Yeah. We are not preaching this evening. So you reserve the message to probably next time, so that when we are having a time for message, we'll hopefully invite you to come and speak to our people. So we want to thank you for finding out time to join us this evening. Despite your busy schedule, you're still able to meet up with a meeting this evening. So what is your expectation from our audience, and what do you expect to give back to our audience this evening?
It's my pleasure coming up live here on your platform, a wonderful platform. My expectation from the audience is that they should be able to put some questions, understand? That critical question, because at this time we need a critical question that need a critical answer that can be able to solve the critical situations that we find ourselves. Because it takes an individual, a personality that is critical, that will look into the criticality of the situation we are finding ourselves. So I'm here with a critical answer for the critical situation, for the critical country, and for the critical people.
And from the critical studio.
Yes. Thank you.
So everything is going to be critical here this evening. Oh, that would be wonderful. That would be wonderful. So can you please introduce yourself so that our audience back home will get to know you better?
Oh, okay. Thank you for that. I'm popularly known as Papka International, the only one that have roots in Africa, branches in North and South America, Asia, Australia, Antarctica, and Europe, the convener of poverty virus in Nigeria. I'm by name Ijabla Pius Papka. Yes, I was born and brought up in the city of Yola, northeastern part of Nigeria. And I grew up in Yola. I did my primary, high school, even the university in Yola, where I obtained my bachelor's degree of technology in pure and applied physics from Modibo Adama University of Technology Yola, formerly known as Federal University of Technology Yola, and now is known as Modibo Adama University Yola. And from there, I served in Delta State, where that was my first time of leaving Delta of Adamawa State to go to this down south, where I served at Federal University of Petroleum Resources, Ephraim, over there in Warri. And from there, I came over to the United Kingdom to do my master's in nuclear and environmental physics. I'm somebody that loves to talk about education and providing solution to it, and more especially trying to bring a balance in the political settings of Nigeria. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ijabala Papka Pius. You know, there was the arrangement you did just whether it was Papka Pius or Pius Papka. Everyone, all of them is accepted. So thank you for joining us, and also thank you for the warm introduction this evening. Our audience, they are glad you're here. You're already seeing the ovation from our audience. You're welcome, sir. So
thank you.
We are expecting that the program this evening, or the weekly talk show this evening, will be something that will penetrate the heart of the government, and also will penetrate the heart of the people, so that we'll know whether it's the government that is faulty, or the political settings, or the students themselves that is at fault. So, Mr. Ijabla Papka Pius,
yes,
what can you tell us about the political, about the educational system in Nigeria? We are used to discussing politics, so so what can you tell us about the educational system in Nigeria?
First of all, I want to say the educational system in Nigeria is a malady. is in a dilapidated state where every well-meaning Nigerian will always cry and want to see situation changes. Looking at the 21st century, where if you look at Europe, America, and Australia, even down to Asia, in education, they have moved forward. But coming down to Africa and down to Nigeria, West Africa, the most populous black country in the whole world, where education is yet to be given priority, I said it's a malady. So at this point in time, while I'm here, I think I want to talk. The situation of the education situation in Nigeria is, what will I say, is nothing to write home about.
Okay. I know if I'm going to be giving you enough time today, you take the whole of the day to actually discuss about this topic. So, can you give us a rundown on how, or probably your experiences, your secondary school, your university, your the whole thing you did as regard education in Nigeria, and also coming down to this part of the world, the Western world, and also what can you say about, or probably you can do a kind of a slight comparison about the two systems of learning.
Okay, you see, I will first of all start, you see me appearing more especially for my cut of dressing.
Okay, black on black.
Yes.
So does that signify anything?
Yes. The reason why I wear this color is I am money. Why I am money is that the Nigerian educational system is almost dead, or I would say is dead. So I came out with a dress code of black on black. You understand? But the reason why I choose a different color of tie.
Sorry, Mr. Papka. A touch of white, which means there's still hope for the educational sector.
Yes, that's what I want to say. Yes. The reason why I put on a touch of white as my tie, trying to showcase to Nigerians there is hope. And this hope lies on us. Me, you, the audience that are listening, because we can't give up. So if I want to start from this question you asked me to compare a bit of comparison, most especially from Nigerian system of education and the European system of education that I am privileged enough to be able to test how it is. I will just start to give a rundown on how I started my journey. I started my journey from a public primary school where there is no, desks. We sat down on floor during lectures, during teachings as pupils. If I can remember, I begin to learn how to write on ground using sand. That has affected my handwriting abilities because of the system I found myself in. Comparing those days, and here, as small as a child is in this part of the world, the Western world, a child is, I think, having either slates, the use of slates, or some technological aspect on learning how to write. But I was not privileged enough because the government in power at that time, because I started my, if I'm not mistaken, I started my primary school as early as, I think, 99 or so, if I'm not mistaken, if I can remember, 99, 2000. So by that, the world has already moved on, have gone far. If you look at it.
Sorry, Mr. Ijabla, Babka, Pius, I would love to just come in a little. You are talking about how you attended your probably the secondary school, primary school now. Yes. You carry school bag, right?
I don't even have school bag. I use nylon, polythene. I use polythene. I don't have school bag. If I have school bag, is something else. You understand? I think before I begin to use an exercise book, I was in primary, is it 3 or 4? That is when I begin to use an exercise book. By then, my parents have to withdraw me from the public primary school to take me to a missionary school at that time. That is when things begin to change. I think, can you hear me? Okay, that's when things begin to change at that time. And from there, I think I was privileged enough to attend a private secondary school where almost everything was given to me. And I'll talk about in terms of standard of education. I enjoy it. It was a competitive environment I found myself, and with the teachers that taught me. But going to the university, in the university, it was another different ball game. In the university where we call it the higher institution, the tertiary institution, where things need to be much more improved, because I attended a public university. My parents are not financially buoyant enough to take me to a private university. So I attended a public university. The same public university that I attended when I was in year 1. I saw how it all started. I think sitting on floor, taking lectures, lecture theater of thousands were being packed like sardine in a lecture theater hall. So looking at it, but when it was not a good environment for students to learn at that time. And the facilities is overstretched, is overused. But looking at the European setting, let me use United Kingdom. Everything that is being done, they all call there is management. They have statistics. You can't see, it's not possible to see somebody sitting on the floor. Technology has gone far. Use of electronic boards and all that stuff is into existence. And the point of the way of learning, where even tutors give time for students, is amazing. Not like the way it is in Africa and in Nigeria. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? So I think there's a network glitches.
We had some network issues a little,
Okay.
but can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Viewers back home, sorry about that. I think part of what we see here in my area today, I think we're having a serious network issue because of some fire incident that came up. So hopefully it should be better now. So I was asking, I said, during your program, your secondary school or your primary school, you made use of school bag?
No. I said I use of polythene bag.
Oh, I think yours is even better. My time, we made use of a bag that you have to tie it very well. Like I can't even. So can you probably go on? Let's know your university, how it went and everything.
As I was saying, I attended public primary school from year 1 down to year 3, where my parents, I will remember my parents have to draw me withdraw me from that school, take me to a missionary school where I was able to attend. And at that time, I have to be repeated back. I have to repeat class again to start from primary 1. Somebody that is going for primary 3 cannot write very well, cannot read. You're looking at it. I can't write, I can't read. So you look at it. My brother of blessed memory, let Honorable Sunday, I think he was the one that insisted I shouldn't go faster because I entered school out of early age. He said I have to repeat. So I was repeated, but the missionary school did well. I would say that was when I began to have exercise book, because when I was in public school, I write on the ground. You understand? So that's how it metamorphosed. My parents were able to take me from there. I was able to attend a private secondary school also, and I would say at my private secondary school, then I was given almost everything. Not even everything. It's still when I got to compare it with the standard here in Europe, United Kingdom. But the secondary school did well. I'm proud to be their alumni.
So what you are telling me now is the secondary schools back home are more in a standard form than the publicly funded schools.
Yes, the private secondary school in my, let me use my state. You understand?
No, you're speaking generally for Nigeria as a country, okay. Because
if I'm going to speak
from the
for
southern
Nigeria,
part of Nigeria.
I've been to private secondary schools in Abuja. I've seen how Abuja is. If I want to use sample as a scientist, that's good. I'm very sorry for that mistake. Let me use sample and give statistics. The secondary schools, public secondary school in Nigeria, is nothing to write home about, because I visited them. That's the truth. I have visited them. Number one, there's indiscipline in that school, in those schools. Number two, the teachers themselves don't give what they're supposed to do. Most of the teachers, they don't like teaching, because I'm privileged. My late father was a teacher. You understand? So I do go to the secondary schools and see how it's been done. You will see that during lecture, teachers will be under the tree. Like especially in the north. Let me just say in the north. Understand? Yeah. In the north, the teachers are either smoking. Or they are speaking full day, instead of in a settings where they should be communicating with an official language called English. You understand? But they were speaking full day, and that has affected me. Yes, I'm here to talk. I'm talking on a public space. You understand? I grew up. I can't speak in a correct sentence, one full sentence, very well without speaking full day. I don't know even how to speak the Hausa language when I was growing up.
I think it's still reflecting your tongue.
Yes. Yes, it's a community. You understand? It's a community that I found myself in. And the teachers, that's what I say, the teachers that the government do pay them, they are not doing their jobs.
Their job, yeah, absolutely.
Yes, because I still remember my father of blessed memory. You understand? He was the senior master in the school, and an English teacher for that matter. You'll be surprised to know my father is an English teacher, was an English teacher.
And you had issues speaking English.
English, yes.
That is serious.
That's because I don't communicate with my father every day. That's the truth. I don't communicate with my father every day. I communicate with the people around me. So you look at it, and when my father used to be strict on making sure that students being taught.
Mr. Ijabla Papka Pius, if I have to give you all the time today, I don't think we are going to ask any other questions. Okay, you've actually given us a kind of a rundown about what happened in your secondary school and all that. So, can you just quickly, before you answer the question that is before you on your screen, can you just quickly tell us the universities, or probably the university back home and the university here in the United Kingdom, in the Western world, in quotes, what can you quickly tell us about them? Is it the same, or what is it that you can tell us, so that we'll know whom to actually hold concerning this menace happening in the Nigerian educational sector?
If you permit me, I want to use this one to say that the public university back home, everybody is involved. The problem is everybody, the lecturers, the government, and the students.
Okay.
Everybody is involved. But I want to start giving fault to the leaders, the Nigerian leaders. The Nigerian leaders are not doing well. And here before me, as you can see, I have a chart. Unfortunately, I will not be able to share with us to see the chart. But with the chart, from 1984, 83, 84, when General Muhammadu Buhari was, during that time, was the head of state. At that time, that was when the educational system of Nigeria began to decline. From 1984. When it comes to 2000, 99, 2000, when we have democracy, 1984 down to 1999, 98, 99, it was military regime.
Absolutely.
You understand? 80s, it was Shagari, which is democracy. We have wonderful supporting education. And during that time, before that time, there was exchange programs. People from Europe do come to Africa, come to Nigeria.
To come and study.
Come and study. You understand?
How wonderful that will be.
You understand? University of Ibadan, precisely. University of Nsukka. You understand? University of Lagos. These are an ABU, Ahmadu Bello University. You see, these are let me say these are the three different universities. One in the west, one in the north, and one in the east. They are strategic. They are strategic. The west do come also. But what happens after General Muhammadu Buhari took power? There was decline in funding of education. According to my charts that I'm seeing now, you understand? There was decline of funding. Everything began to decline. But from 2000, when we have democracy, there was a bit, the chart shows that there was the funding, there was increase and things begin to change. But after that, when again, the same man that brought about decline in education from 1983-84
came back to power
2015. You understand? According to the
educational sector dies
up again. You understand? So for me to say what I'm going to say, that to answer your question, if I'm going to compare Nigerian system of education and European system of education that I found myself, sincerely speaking, my beloved journalist, you are a journalist, and you, as a journalist, you have to be impartial. You understand? When analyzing something,
you're trying to bang me over.
No. We have to be impartial in analyzing something. We have to say that Nigeria is in if you permit me to say, Nigeria is in 1880s in terms of education. Even
I can imagine. I can relate with what you're saying. I can absolutely relate to what you're saying.
So definitely that is what I can say. Comparing that, then coming back again to the well, I started about the leadership, because the leadership, they don't fund it very well.
Here now comes the question before you, Mr. Papka. Who is meant to monitor the public secondary schools?
Okay, the people that are meant to monitor the public secondary schools, in the constitution, we have what we call the Ministry of Education.
Okay, is it in the local government setting or in the state level?
The federal, the state level, we have Ministry of Education.
I think the local government too, we also have the same ministry, but
yes,
the commissioner for education, probably, or the honorable member for education in the local government level. I think I've heard probably something like that.
In local government, the primary schools, the public primary school are basically controlled by the local government.
Okay,
you understand? But from secondary school upwards, they are basically controlled by the state government and federal government. That's why we have two. The primary school in Nigerian constitution, if you look at it, understand, the primary schools are being controlled. You understand? They are under the care of the local government. That's why we have, if you look at it, the local government, Nigerians, they want autonomy. Yes, they need that autonomy, but the state are not giving them the autonomy. You understand? So who is meant to monitor the public secondary schools is the Ministry of Education. And this Ministry of Education, they either have the minister or the commissioner.
and all of them, they are just busy at home doing absolutely nothing.
What I would say is that the governors, the president, isn't it, that we had over time, and the legislature that approved them, because a governor will present list of commissioners. It will have to go through the House of Assembly for them to be approved.
Here now comes the question, Mr. Papka. Sorry, I'll have to be cutting you short because of our time. Here now comes the question. How many commissioners have you seen that they did not approve when the government present them?
What this is why politics come into place. Because what the point I was trying to make is that the House of Reps, the House of Assembly, the senators approve these ministers or commissioners if it is when it is one of their own. That whether if it is competent enough or not competent enough, you understand?
They approve it.
They approve him. Let me just say something. I remember 1999 to 2007. You understand? I'm using figures. Adamawa State, let me just say Adamawa State so that people can go and check records. During that time, we had a commissioner of education, one of the best commissioner of education that the state ever had. You understand? And at that time was His Excellency Boni Haruna was the governor of the state. The man is late now. The commissioner is late. The man was an educationist, and he was given the commissioner of education. So you look at it by his portfolio, he was qualified to be in that position, and to nothing but the gospel truth. I wasn't in the secondary school level, but nothing but the truth. At that time, the school in my state was thriving well.
Wow.
But after that time again, when we had change of government, you understand? When somebody that you know somebody, you understand? Was given some position.
Mr. Papkas, sorry, I'll still have to cut you. It means I will not be wrong to tell the audience that the problem of education in Nigeria is tied to politics.
Yes, it's tied to politics, and it's even tied, apart from the governors, people see, we forget that we have the House of Assemblies, you understand, in our states.
In the various states, yeah.
In the various states, and let's say in Nigeria, we have 774 local governments.
Local governments.
You understand? Minus one, 773. Yes, Bakassi is taken out. You understand? 773. But we have almost 780 something constituencies.
Yeah.
You understand? In the state level. And each constituency have a member representing them. So those people that we vote into power are the ones that make laws for us, that approve the commissioners, that we want them to be able to champion the affairs of governance in each sector. We have the education, as I'm talking about, let me stick to the educational sector of Nigeria. You understand? So if those people do not give us the right people, you understand, there is no way we're going to have the right team, the system to work. Because
so if I'm getting you correctly, when we have the wrong people in office, the office will not strive.
Yes.
Thank you very much for that, Mr. Ijabla Papka Payo. So I think this we go to our audience back home. We've been looking at the educational system in Nigeria. Who are we to blame? So it might be a plea at the same time to also tell the government that we should always look for the right set of persons to occupy the right position, not bringing people that is coming to office just because of their own personal gain. You are in Nigeria as a commissioner, you are in Nigeria as a minister of education, you're doing nothing about it. The strike has been on for quite a number of months now. Children are at home, but your children, they are here in the United Kingdom, in the USA, in Canada, doing their various education. During COVID, we discovered that schools in Nigeria were totally short, and schools in the Western world, they were still receiving classes, which happens to be one of the beneficiary. So over to you again, Mr. Papka Pius.
Yes, sir.
Can you actually tell us the issue of this education in Nigeria, I know you have talked about politics.
Yes.
Will I be wrong if I say the issue of religion is another problem of education in Nigeria?
Oh yeah, you try to bring me to a place I never want to talk about.
Yeah, I think we have to talk about it. It's very, very important.
Nigeria, as I always say, Nigeria is a polarized country, and being a polarized country, we have issues. That's why I want to tell you that if Nigeria is going to go the way it is going, the dynamics is going, Nigeria is not going to prosper. Nigeria will not prosper, because if you are going to be looking at if this person that have good idea, that have the good blueprints, that can be able to cause a revamp, it's not from my region, it's not my tribe, or it's not from my religion, you understand? I'm not going to support him or her. Then the aim of federalism is defeated.
Is defeated.
And the aim
Absolutely.
of is defeated. So I want to make, because looking at Europe, let me use United Kingdom as a point of reference, because I've been here at least and I've tested it. They go for the best. That is what I observe in this part of the world. We don't want to manage. We want the best. Permit me to say this. According to the research from London School of Economy, October 2020, my own university that I graduated from, University of Glasgow, contributed to the United Kingdom economy 4.4 billion pounds.
Can you imagine?
Education. What happens? I begin to do some analysis. That's why I started, those of us that are following me, I begin to bring from 1983, 84, talking about the budget, on how things have been happening, the pie charts, the charts of Nigerian system of education, how it is being funded. Here in the United Kingdom, I think from 1980, if I'm not mistaken, according to the charts that I've looked while I was trying to lay my hands on, the least money that was used to fund education was 40 billion pounds. 40 billion pounds.
I think, some of our viewers, they are trying to say some things here. He said they go for the best, and also because they have fun. Nigeria has funding too. It's just because we have greedy leaders, and
I'm coming for that funding. I'm coming for that funding. That is why I want to say I will appreciate two people, even though the Nigerians might not want to hear their names. You understand? We have funding in Nigeria, but the funding is that you know somebody who knows somebody. You get me? Most of the funding, 80% of the funding, that knows somebody. But there's one man, at least I would say, that stand out, that go for the best. And this is what happens. I remember, because I'm the somebody that when I was growing up, I was able to attach myself with the older generation. How they used to give me stories of what has happened. At that time, my professor, late Professor Jesu Ododo, understands, was sponsored here by Nigerian University, Nigerian government. Let me use the Nigerian government. He was sponsored to come and study at Imperial College, England. He did his PhD and still went back to Nigeria. But when he went back to Nigeria, there was no facilities enough to be able to teach the students that what he was trained here in the United Kingdom, so he can go implement it there. So you look at it, that was another problem. Now, I wanted to press Governor Nasir El-Rufai. Governor Nasir El-Rufai, I think apart from the Niger Delta Development Commission in Nigeria, isn't it, that do fund, give scholarship for their indigenous from those states, oil-producing states in Nigeria. El-Rufai has been one of the people, one of the governors that I know that sponsors students to come to universities. And this is the criteria that he do give. The university that you are going to come and study, its ranking must be more than that of University of Ibadan, which is very good. But my question is now, what facilities has he provided Because after they come here to study, they will go back to Nigeria again, so that they will go and implement. But what facilities has he provided for those scholars that they have been trained, they have the experience and exposure, you understand, of either Canada, United Kingdom, USA, Asia, you understand, to implement in his own state, which is not feasible. So you see the problem now. That is the problem we're having at the moment. So if the government can be able to make sure there is adequate funding both from public and private sector. Look at it. Here in the United Kingdom, a company can decide to give money for research. Okay, we want a research, I'll fund this. That's why sometimes some of the advertised PhD that we see, it is not even the government of the United Kingdom that do that. It's a company. And that is why they give priority to their own citizens. They'll tell them, okay, you must be a local, a British citizen. A British citizen, you understand? You must be a British citizen that we are going to do so and so. I still remember, I think when I was talking, it's not on your platform. One of my wonderful brother and a friend, engineer Gip Ogaba Udo, when he did a research, his project research, and that research has been a mind-blowing to help the visually impaired individuals. If it was funded very well, look at the impact of that research. If that research had good funding, it is going to curb unemployment. The children of the physically impaired individuals will have leverage to go to school.
Then there'll be hope for them.
Yes. Looking at it now, because they don't have hope, there is no funding for that research to be done. You understand? If my father is blind, I'll be the one to be leading my father around to go for begging, because this is what is happening. So
I think that's majorly rampant in the northern parts of the country. Sorry, I think we have to try to minimize what was saying so that we'll have the whole time to actually discuss here in the studio this evening. Thank you, Mr. Papka, because I know you before this topic was actually choosing, and you were asked to come and talk about this topic. I know you were actually the right person to deal with this kind of issue, which is a major challenge in Nigeria as a country. So when you were talking a few moments ago, you talked about that the problem with the educational sector cut across both the students, the lecturers, the government. So can you briefly elaborate more about that? Let's know how the students, how their problems. Let's know how the lecturers, how their problem. Let's also know how the government are the problem in Nigeria educational sector.
Okay, if I will start from the lecturers, you know, the lecturers are the ones being used to bring dubious leaders into government. That's the truth. So now the ASU is on strike. They were the ones that were used to do a kind of a thing in one way or the other to make sure government is in place. Two, again, those lecturers again, if you go down to either some part of the university, if you look at it, sex for money, grade for, is it grade for money, sex for grades, other stuff like that, you get me? There is no integrity, and you pay stuff like that. Most especially if you go to the southern part of the country. If you come again to the aspect of the students, issue of crisis, student riots, religious riots in universities, because I'm part and parcel, I experienced what they call religious riots in my universities. I remember that also affected my study. And number two, facilities of the universities was destroyed. I can still, if as I'm talking to you, the picture of the riot is reflecting on my mind on how it happens. You understand?
Yeah.
Lecture theaters, a lot of things. So, and students have to pay heavily. You look at it. So stuff like that. These are the things that this is why I said it cut across everybody. The lecturers that are used to ascertain the credibility of leaders that we elected. Some of them lack conscience. They don't have conscience. They collect money, bribe, and they give bad leadership. Also, the students that they lack patience, what we call tolerance of among individuals. Okay, let's say I am as you. Let's say, okay, now we don't the student don't put Nigeria, what we call federalism as a whole as number one. They put sectionality. They put, okay, I'm a Christian, I'm a Muslim, I come from the north. You understand? I come from the south. I'm Yoruba. I am Hausa. I am Efik. I'm Ibibio. You get me? And when there's a disagreement, that causes another riot in a university, that causes people or students, you understand, to burn down activities, facilities of the universities. So this is one of the impact. This is one of the main point, or one of the main reasons I say that it's the problem cut across every sector. You as a lecturer, if you're a lecturer that you don't go by merit, I still remember when I was in the university, a lecturer abused me because I asked a question.
A lecturer will boldly tell you A is for Jesus.
Yes.
B
I asked
is
a question.
for me. C is for this one is not. I heard it. This one I experienced it. So imagine such lecturers, the kind of students they are breathing.
If I have my colleagues that are viewing me, they can attest to that.
A lecturer told me when I was in school, he said, Timothy, I did not graduate with a first class. So the rest assured, nobody in this class graduated with first class. A lecturer telling a student that.
It happens. It happens. And I want to tell you, it happens. But when I came to this part of the world, I remember my professor, my supervisor that supervised me on my master's thesis. You understand? I was very afraid of him because of the background I came from.
You came from, absolutely, yeah.
You understand? Even though in my own time, at least I will still give God the glory. I have after I've left some of the general courses. You understand? Some of my lecturers, they are very wonderful. You understand? They at least supported me, and I can't forget. That's why I say I always keep on mentioning this professor, led Professor Jesse Ododo. You understand? He has been a wonderful person. I've been a wonderful man, and also my own supervisor, Professor Udo Emmanuel. You understand? And Professor.
Yeah, I know the supervisor.
Yes, Professor Udo was my supervisor.
Okay.
I can't hear you. Sorry, viewers. I think he's having network glitches. I can't hear him. Okay, you're saying something, sir?
Okay, I was trying to. I thought you actually forgot the name of your supervisor, so I never knew it was a network issue from my end. I sincerely apologize to all our audience. We had some incidents in my environment today, so I feel they are trying to work on the network because of what happened. So it's very sad. So before you continue with what you're saying, our audience, they're actually saying that not all lecturers. I think I can talk about that categorically, because where I am today is as a result of an advice from a lecturer. We have out of 12, there's always a Judas. That's what people always say. So yeah. I had lecturers, in fact, that I can count, because I've tested the Polytechnic education how it is. I tested the university, and here am I. I've also tested the Western World University, how things are being run. So in the Polytechnic settings, I had in fact, when students get admission into school, one of the first set of lecturers they meet, or the first set of friends they meet go with, we have a great impact in their lives. All true. I'm not talking about
yes.
All true. When I got admission, the lecturer called me and told me, Timothy, you are not meant to be here. You are sharp. You can go higher than this. That thing is still sticking in my head till date. All thanks to Mrs. Ogumboyowa Adebola. That woman actually was a mother in Israel. All through my school till now, she's still calling to check up on me. Timothy, how is your master's program going? Hope you are doing well. Hope everything is fine. Those are the type of lecturers I was looking for, not the one that came to me and tell me, Timothy, should I show you your script? You had 8/60. If you don't, you can happen to be a class rep. If you don't collect money from your students, this course, you are failing it automatically. So things like that, I think, should be addressed in our country. Lecturers, I can say that boldly, some lecturers are the major problem in our Nigeria educational sector. I'm saying this without apology to anyone. Some lecturers, I'm not saying all. I had lecturers that took me as a son. In fact, my previous professor in my undergraduate program was, till date, he's still like an elder brother to me. My HOD, he was the one that gave me my reference letter. He's still very wonderful. But we still have some that will tell you, man, you go nowhere. If I think
yes, what I want to say is this. If you look at it, what I want to say is this. I remember the issue of buying of handouts and other stuff is another issue.
It's another challenge. Absolutely.
But my university, that's what I talk about, also leadership again. My university that I graduated from, they try as much as possible to cope that situation. I think from seeing for the time of Professor A.A. Ribado, because when he was a VC of my university, that issue of handout issue, that man also, you see, it is all about how is the leadership of the university. The leadership of the university matters. From that time, from his time, Professor A.A. Ribado says, before I even came to the university, there's a law, if a lecturer is caught selling handouts, it is at the detriment of his own job. And that helps a lot. I think, if I'm not mistaken, throughout my university, in my university days, I've never bought handouts. That's the truth. I've never bought handouts. And as I said, I've been saying that before, it's not all lecturers that are bad. Yes. Some people, they will come and they will just bring their frustration from home and put it upon students.
And put it on the students.
You understand? Which is not good. That's like what's called, that is a bad quality of a teacher. You understand? A good teacher should be able to take away what is happening at home and what is happening in the office. You understand? So,
absolutely.
As I said, I can't talk about in education without talking about Professor Emmanuel Udo. And I can't go away without talking about led Professor Jesse Ododo and Professor Adetola and Professor Benson Yerima. These people have been wonderful people, and I don't know whether it's not a professor, Dr. Pascal. These are people that taught me, Pascal, Tim Terry. You understand? They taught me very, very well, and they love to see students excel. That is one thing.
That should be Mr. Papka. I think that should be the mentality. That should be, we should inculcate this into the head of all the lecturers back home in the country, because there are some lecturers, they don't want to see their student excelling, and it's a major challenge back home. So lecturers, they are just there. Their own is, how can my student be greater than me?
Yes.
Mr. Popka, let me tell you and my audience this story. When I got my visa, I just hope the lecturer that did this will see this video. When I got my visa, I was traveling from Abuja to Benin. So when I got to Auchi, it was already 9 p.m. So my mom called. I was like, Tim, I will not allow you to continue your journey. It's already died because the road is somehow. So I decided to just sleep over in a friend's house in Auchi. The next morning, I was supposed to return back to Benin. I was like, no, how can I just get this this good news, and I will not share with my lecturers that taught me in my polytechnic? So I just entered the department, and as usual, being a class rep for almost 2 years, so I was known by virtually almost all the lecturers. Tim, you are here. Tim, you are here. So I was just telling some of them, okay, I'll be going to the United Kingdom for my masters and all that. One confronted me and told me, you don't know what you are doing, what you have come to this life to do. I was like, I don't understand. He said, instead of you to think of what your passion is. I said, sir, I'm not doing master's in it. He said, no matter where you are doing your masters, you don't need masters for now. And I tell you, he's currently doing his PhD. He's currently doing his, he said, you don't need masters. I was trying to explain to him. He said, Timothy, you don't need your masters. Go think of something to do. He started bringing scenarios. This one did not go to school. He's a big man now. If I knew all my years, I spent 10 years going to school. That is an example of a lecturer that don't want to see the student excel.
It's very bad.
It's very
I'm sorry
bad.
for that
It's very bad.
unfortunate
And that is a
incident.
major problem and major challenge that is confronting our educational system. Let's not bring, sorry, Mr. Papka. Let's not bring the blame to just the government alone. The problem starts from both the government, both the lecturers, and also the students. You as a class rep, what are you doing to your co-student? You as a senator representing your class or your department, what are you doing to your students? Those are the places that the problem is starting from. If a lecturer calls you and tell you, I was a part of it. A lot of lecturers called me and told me, Timothy, we need you to collect this money for us as a class rep. I told them a capital letter no. I hope some of my classmates now Tripoli, they will be here to listen to this video, and they should counter it if I'm telling lies. I stood, and I'm proud to say I stood my ground. One told me, said, Timothy, you are not graduating. I told him, see, you are not my God, and I'm going to graduate. And today, I'm happy I did. I stood my ground. So if all class rep can do that, I think that will go a long way to also help. The student union government, what are they doing? A lot of places they are contesting election just because they want to go and enjoy it and just have a good time for themselves. I think those are the major problems that is facing our educational sector. Before we go to the government, you cannot trust on to a glass house when you are living in that same glass house. That is a problem that we are facing in our educational sector. Thank you, Mr. Papka. When it comes to topics like this, I'm already, I'm just, I'm trying to just get myself composed because the problem is too much, and if we don't address issues like this, it will continue. So I don't know. Do you still have something to say, or should I ask you another question?
I have something to say. Give me.
Okay, you can continue, sir.
Before you ask me another question, let me finish what I want to say. Give me at least 3 minutes. If I'm done, I'll say thank you. As I was saying, I can't forget Dr. Is that a professor? Diko. You say something about student unionism. Dr. Diko has also been part of the student lecturers that always want to see students progressing. Let me come to student unionism. I was a student representative when I was in the university. You call me a political pastor. You understand? I've been a politician from in the university. But when it happens, I confront authorities. I confront authorities, deans, and lecturers pertaining students. I confronted them on issues of matters. This is what happens. After it happens, I try to be a mediator. As a leader, you always have to be a mediator, try to have a win-win situation to avoid conflict. But sometimes, because of the human nature, some people will try to fight you. So in the Nigerian system of settings, the populace produce the reflection of what it is as a leader. In Nigerian system, the leaders we're having is the reflection of the populace. Just take it from me. Because the leaders do not come from tree. They do not fall down from heaven. They come from us. So
are they really coming from us?
Mr. They are coming from us. Because they eat the same food we eat. They mingle with us. You understand? They drink the same water. They apply the same role we apply. They reason the same way we reason. You're getting me? And that's why when they come, we voted them into power. And the fact is this. As we said, if you are a class rep, you cannot be able to provide justice to your fellow colleague. When time comes on, you become maybe a member, a governor, a senator.
You absolutely cannot do anything when that
you cannot do anything. So you see, that is the mind. That is why I said that I categorically say without apology, our leaders we are having is a reflection of our society. Without apology, this one. So
I think one of our lecturers is telling us that it's very tough and we should avoid partisanship here.
We're not talking about party here, doctor. We are saying the facts. At least we didn't generalize the situation of what happened. That's why we tried. For me, I tried to mention some lecturers' name that taught me. You understand? And these have been very wonderful people. They always want to see, as I said, the first person, Mr. Timothy, the first person that encouraged me when I was doing my service, after my service, to go for masters was Professor Adetola. Professor Adetola's Oniku, Sunday Oniku. He was the man who called me and said that, Papka, you have to go for MSc. And I don't want you to stay and do MSc in Nigeria.
That is a lecturer that has a student at heart. That is exactly what I'm saying. But the truth is, we are sorry, Mr. Papka, we are still going to look at this from because if a student if a student is furthering his or education, not everybody has the fund to do that.
Yes.
In the Nigerian educational sector, I might be wrong. Sorry, I'm from the south. You're from the north. So yes, hopefully we are going to actually dig this and get a solution here. The south. Okay, I know Doctor is here watching, so probably he can also counter what I'm saying now. So in the south, the issue of getting scholarship to study outside the country, in quotes, sorry, audience, I might be wrong, so that's why you are here to correct me. Getting scholarship to study outside the country is very, very difficult. Very. Okay, I think I'm back. I had a network glitch there too. Okay, from the north, they don't want me to say this. I will say it. But in the north, it is very, very easy to get. When I mean easy, the stress that we pass through in the south. Probably we are going to do a statistics about this. Let's know the number of Southerners that is here with scholarship, and let's know the number of Northerners that is here with scholarship. You can see that they are much. The Northerners, they are more than the South. So that is where I might call it partisanship, comes into play.
Let me debunk
this issue. I think it will go a long way to help everybody.
Let me debunk this information that you said now.
Okay, thank you very much. That's why I stand to be corrected.
My information might not be the absolute truth or the absolute fact. But if you look at it, in the South, quite all right. That's what I say that we produce the leaders of our reflection. The South, how they call the Niger Delta Ministry of Niger Delta. And the Ministry of Niger Delta have a scheme, a scholarship scheme for its own indigenes.
And how many person gets it?
What is happening is that the ministry mismanage the fund. And they said it, the truth is that it is being said, the same people, I think when I came over, there was a time that there was riots here and over in the UK by those ministries, from those students. They were not paid their stipends, and I think even some of their school fees were not paid from the ministry after sending them. So you look at it, it is leadership. When you come to the north, I'm trying to avoid mentioning names, but when we talk about the north, in the north, you will look at what we call Concourso. Concourso sends students abroad to study. I've never for once heard that the universities or students that he sent for studies, you understand, were in shambles. When you go to Kaduna, which is El-Rufai, Nasir El-Rufai, I think you and I had Mr. Eli. Are you with me?
Very well, sir.
You and I were able to have a contact with Mr. Eli. Eli is one of our friend and brother. He was a scholar from Mr. Nasir El-Rufai's scholarship scheme.
Definitely,
and
yeah.
This is what happens. And that's why I want to commend those two people. At least, there are political bias in no matter what, but at least the larger percentage of people that earn the scholarship are based on merit, which is lacking in the South. In the North, I can say that they try as much as possible to try and do based on merit. And that is affecting the true federalism that we're having in the South. The people from the north are not the one managing the resources in the south. I don't want to be biased, but this is a fact. A minister of Niger Delta is not from the north. It has to be from the south, from one of your from the indigenous of that place. Because I'm a scientist, and I worked on, if you can remember one of my research, I worked on the impact of oil and gas, issue of oil and gas. You understand? From that community, as a scientist and as a nuclear and environmental physicist, I have a lot of impact that I can begin to talk because I did research on that. But yet, the leaders there, they don't want to see their indigenous going forward. Coming to the north again, I'd also say that in the north, at least, not everybody, some of the governors, I think in my state also, or at least by merit from undergraduate, some of them have been sent to India, which is I think the governor, Right Honorable Ahmadu Fintri, did that. You understand? That's why I'm talking with facts. That's when I'm talking this, I need to say with fact because it can be used against me, but I'm not having facts. You understand? So he did it. So he tried as much as possible to send people. If you're able to, there's a criteria to apply, which is being announced. And even though if you see people that are being sponsored, you will see that yes, they meet the criteria, and that at least will not cause grievances. You look at it, it will not cause grievances. But people that don't meet the criteria that are being sponsored is another issue. Coming to the PTGF as another one, you understand, which encapsulates the whole nation, is a different ball game.
Mr. Papka, I don't want to be biased with what you are saying this evening because I've done part of the research and I know I'm a journalist, so I've done a little about the research about what is happening, and I can categorically tell you that the sharing formula is not right. Here comes the question. Nigeria has a Minister of Education.
Yes.
And they have the one for state. So all these people, do they not have rights over the various scholarship scheme?
As a Minister of Education, you understand? That's why you are the one, you are to supervise a lot of things is under you. But if you look at like the Minister of Education that you're talking about, we have the federal Minister of scholarship scheme. This is directly under that person, that federal ministry scholarship scheme, and it should be based on merit. And that is why that's why I want to distance away myself from politics, more especially issue of that. But in this kind of a thing, we can't do away with it. So that is why if those viewers from home, I started saying that this is that if you know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody, that is how this has been happening. But it's now high time for us Nigerians to begin to change the narratives. We have to change the narratives because it has been the norm of the day. When I remember, let Professor Jesse Ododo, you understand, is a legend for me, you understand, as somebody that is from the southeast, but yet till date I hold him very dear in my heart. You understand? How he dealt with me, how he had everything, or how he gave me history and everything. He left the comfort of his son and everything to come down to the north. Has been the first professor in Gongola State. If anybody knows Gongola State, it was then Adamawa and Taraba. The first professor of Gongola State is Professor Jesse Ododo. You understand? That man really impacted into lives. And these are people that we want. You understand? Why did he impact into life? The government, at least, he's always proud to say that during his time, the government did well for him. He used to tell me, say, Papka, if I were in your time to study, if it was your time that I was studying, I won't graduate with first class. That was the one who was telling me. He said it. He said that if you found himself that he was studying our time, there's no way that we were able to graduate with first class. He was a first class with excellence. He did well. So you look at it. So as religiosity and tribalism, the cankerworm that eat deep into the society, that is what has caused the problem of Nigerian as a whole. So in the South, those people that are responsible, the leaders over there is a mindset, because I think I have been able to have stay in the South. the South shy away from extended family issue. Where I stay in the South, but you come to the North, that will call
when you say extended family issue, I really don't get you. Can you probably expatiate so that the audience will understand very well? Thank you.
You look at it when you come to the North. How would I begin to? How would I say? If like now, like me now in the North, the way I'm raised up is that somebody from my community is my brother. This person is your brother, and when I'm having issue, I'll go and ask. If he's older than me, I will tell him, elder brother, this is what I have. You understand?
Yeah, I will not be like what you said now. I think I'm in support of it because that actually lacks in the South. We lack it in the South.
You understand? But in the South,
even Southerners, when you meet yourselves outside, I'm literally jealous of the Northerners when I see them outside. Because
you see how I relate here,
and it's as if they've seen nobody. So
yes,
that's actually
you
a
can
bigger problem.
attest to how I relate with my fellow Northerners here in this part of the world. I've never met them, but meeting them for the first time, when I see them, I say I'm from so and so. The love and care that we show ourselves is a different ball game. So you see, it's all about culture. Or is it culture or norms that happens? You understand? So that's be another part of the problem. So the leaders from the South, that's why if you see they say that if it is not from my own maternal home, they don't want to give people, you understand, from their community. That's why you see somebody will sit upon billions.
Even those that are from their community, are they giving them anything?
I'm talking about maternal. When I'm talking about maternal, if my father and your father and you're not the child of my father, you get what I'm saying? You understand? If they have the same father or the same mother, you understand? They don't give, which is very bad. You understand? So you look at it, they only give these things to their close relative, which is a bit negligible. We don't see it in the North. And that is why we have loyalty in the North. You see it? Now, like me now, I say, I know somebody now, I have a problem. You that come from the South, I say, okay, Papka, I have a problem. And I don't have the solution, but I know somebody that have a problem. I can pick a call and say, oh, I have a brother. If I tell you I say I have a brother, whether we are the same mother or not the same mother or the same father, because we are the same community, if I say I have a brother, I pick a call and call him. I say my friend is coming. You understand? I will tell you that, oh, you are my brother. Case close. So you look at how it is. It's all about, so if Nigeria is going to start thinking in that way, that we are one, everybody is my brother, you understand? And we're able to have this mindset, that is when we're going to grow. You see, I always quote Amin Ikono of blessed memories. Amin Ikono says that Nigeria will only be better when the child of nobody can, because somebody without knowing anybody.
And you are feeling that a time like that will come one day.
Yes, I have that hope that a time like that, Nigeria will be that. I'm hopeful. That is why I wear this color, white color. Even though I'm mourning for Nigerian system of education of what has happened, that's why I'm wearing black. But this tie, at least, it is tying me on my neck. You understand? Saying that don't go astray. You still have hope. You understand?
No, so, because the reason why we're actually talking about all these things is as a result of the negligence in our educational sector. Even is one thing. Sorry to say, I'm not justifying anything. I'm not justifying the what youth are doing by going into money rituals or anything. But how many youths can be bold enough to say, okay, I'm a graduate of this particular course and I got a job without knowing anybody? At the present before you can see things like that happen in that part of the world.
At the present Nigeria situation, sir, is less than 2% of, let me just say 5%.
Imagine that. So that is why youth they just tell themselves, in quotes, the slang, old school help. And that has always been the order of the day, because they feel after school, what next? But in this part of the world, you can go to school, graduate, apply for a job, you know what you are doing, you get the job without knowing even a fly. So what do you think can be done to salvage this menace in our educational system?
For things like this to be done is that, you see, if we are looking at it now, the number of children out of school, it is more in the north than even in the south.
You can't be too sure.
No, statistics has shown that. If I'm not mistaken, out of every 5 children out of school in the world, understand? Every 5 children out of school, 1 is from Nigeria. Then we come back again. You come to the north again. The north have a lot of them moving without school, and that is why we're having this issue. You see, this issue of the education system has caused a lot of things. That is what is causing the insecurity situation we're having, because people are not even educated very well. People are not impacted very well. You understand? So if the educational system that they are going to be called equality or fairness, you understand, and opportunities will be given like the way those people were given at their time, during the time of Ahmadu Bello, during the time of Tafawa Balewa, Nnamdi Azikiwe, you understand, when they enjoyed that time, you understand, if those opportunities will be given again, because at that time, they be sincere, Mr. Timothy, to be sincere, if that time can still repeat itself, you understand, that is when Nigeria can go forward. And that is why I don't want to talk about politics, but that is why I think for that time to come into existence, there have to be restructuring in Nigeria.
When you talk, Mr. Papka, when you talk about restructuring, I have said it. I've always clamored for it. Restructuring begins from you.
Yeah.
Restructuring. When you talk about restructuring, don't talk about let's restructure Nigeria. No. Restructure yourself first. If you, in this part of the world, you can literally be moving along the street and worry you want to get into the bus and somebody will just, somebody that knows you from nowhere will just shoot and tell you, don't worry, go in. But in Nigeria, you see people almost fighting because they want to get into the bus.
There's no order.
People don't know how to put others first in whatever they are doing. Yes. We begin to do that, we begin to see that things will begin to move on appropriately. Now let me ask, before you got admission into your school, did you have to pass through knowing 1 or 2 persons before you got admission?
University of Glasgow or my
no, University in Nigeria.
Okay, let me give an example. I passed my JAMB. I can't forget that. I did not start the time. I was given admission 2012. You understand? My admission is really 2012, but I did not start at that 2012 with my colleagues. I started 2013. What happens? This is what happens. Even though I was qualified to study physics, because I was the one that used my hand to study physics, because since I always remember, since I was 17, I want to be a nuclear physicist. So I say that the only way to become a nuclear physicist, you must have to, in Nigeria, you must be able to study your degree level as a physicist. And I applied my university. Don't forget that. I applied to Usman Ofode University before, and ABU before I do change of course to apply to my own university in my own state and Unimet. I didn't go for Posiemi in Unimet, but I went for Posiemi in my Maotech, Modibo Adama University of Technology Yola, now Modibo Adama University Yola. I went there. I remember that time they said the system crashed. As the system crashed, we did not hear anything. It's only those people that know somebody that were given admission, and very few on merit. The way God made it, my own admission is a miracle. You understand? The then vice chancellor, deputy vice chancellor, deputy vice chancellor. I can't forget. I remember my colleagues when secondary school, they had admission. They were saying, Papka, because he used to call me the prof. The prof. I can't forget about 2 of my colleagues. I think I have to call their names. They did well for me. You understand? Khadija Buba Aliu and Murtala Ahmad, Murtala Ahmad. You understand? These people took my results, gave it to their parents. These are secondary school colleagues of mine. They gave it to their parents to see how I get admission, to tell you how they struggle. That's the spirit of oneness and unionism. I want to tell you oneness that we are talking about. They have already gotten admission and they see I don't have admission. So they know because their parents at least have influence. You understand? They say, this person is a good person, He has already have every criteria. We cannot go to university without him going to university.
You can actually imagine that happening in another part of the world. See, when it comes to topics like this, I am just trying to, sorry, Mr. Bob, I'm trying to bring back to memory everything that I passed through before this kind of topic is being discussed. Is something a lot of persons are passing through it out there. If you don't want to give student admission, then just tell them you cannot allow, just minimize those that you want to take. If you know, look for criteria and tell them, okay, this is the reason you can't be given admission. My brother, I applied for school 4 good times. The first year, I wanted to study law in the University of Benin. I was rejected for no reason. I had 279, and in my jam, and I did well by post-UTME, and I waited for result. I didn't get it. They said, oh, they'll use catchment area. You're from those states, you will get it. I was happy I would get it. That year passed. Second year, same thing happened. I think that second year I applied for this University of Nigerian University at Masoma in Bayelsa. I applied for law, same thing happened. The third year I came back to University of Benin again, same thing happened. Until the fourth year I said, no, that's a university, not my calling. I went to a polytechnic. When I applied for a polytechnic, in fact, it was still very blank until I had to look for content. I had a neighbor, and I'm saying it got from Sir Tim-Osa Media Studio. Thank you very much, Mr. M.U. Omokaro. I went to him. I told him, sir, I've been looking for admission. You need to help me. And this man collected my credentials, and that is how my academical journey began.
Let me explain my own. I've not finished my own. You understand my own. That was my own. Was a miracle. You look at it. Sorry, viewers at home. We have to give you these testimonies. We have to recognize people that did well in our life. We might not. We have a lot of people that did bad, but we can't mention their name. But people that did well, we have to mention their name. That is it. Khadija Buba Aliu is a colleague of mine. And Mukhtar was also a colleague of mine. You understand? These are individuals that work hard. But this is what happened. I remember, I always say my admission is a miracle. They tried, but things did not work out. I went for a church program. After a church program, the pastor called us, one of our state overseer, Pastor Ari Hassan, I can't forget him. He prayed, he said, God says I'm going to have admission. I say, amen, amen. I claim it. After going back home, that's how a man came. I don't know him, but that's how then Engineer Garba, John Garba, he saw me at home sweeping my mother's floor. He said, what is this big boy doing at home? He's met already in the university. Did you have at least 5 credit? I said, I've passed everything. All I told him, what about your jam? I said, I scored about 200. He said, okay. What did I apply? I said, I applied physics. That's how the man, he said, give me, he said, do you have my credentials? I said, I don't have any credentials. Okay, I said, but I should follow him. I followed him. He went and photocopied my credentials, collected it. You understand? Took it to the damn vice chancellor, deputy vice chancellor admin. And that man, I still respect him. When he saw me, he saw the result. He said, this person is qualified already. There's no problem. He's a qualified person. But as long as to cut the long story short, he requested for my audience. I went there. He asked me why I was not giving the admission. I said that it is a university that refused to give me the admission. There's no reason why I wasn't giving the admission. I can't forget that incident. Yes, if you look at the catchment area to talk about, yes, catchment area. Yes. But the man asked me something. He asked me, he said that, do you really want to study physics? Because physics is a very tough course. I said, yes. He said, okay, I should promise him that if I'm going to study physics, I'm going to graduate with 2-1. Then in that office, because it was my privilege, I was privileged enough to be in that office because of somebody that knows somebody. He said what happens. He said that I told him, I said, sir, his name is Professor Aliu. He said, sir, I'm going to graduate with first class. I'm going to bring the certificate for you. He said, are you sure? He said, okay. Then he writes, you see what happened? He wrote Engineer John Garba on my name and put on his drawer. The next thing I'll hear is that it is this same Khadija that I told you, understand, that first called me to congratulate me that I've gotten admission, to tell you the people around me. When I went, after everything, that's how He started. When I called him back, I said, thank you, Professor, for believing in me. You understand? He believed in me. I did not only graduate with the 2-1 that he expected me to graduate, but I was able to have the first class.
You actually made him proud, and
Yes.
that's actually something that is good,
Okay.
and every
A
youth
question
will
is
learn
for me.
from.
Is it a
Yeah,
question for me?
that's a question for you.
That is okay. Can our national budget handle our population like that time? Yes, that's the question. That is why when I was talking about the population in 1984, it was from the time 83, 84 when General Muhammadu Buhari was head of state. That was when he began to cancel a lot of things, incentives in academic settings. You understand? Our budget.
I remember they used to eat back then in school.
Yes, they used to eat. Correct was the old call about a cafeteria, but now not at all. It's not possible. Oh my goodness. That's why I said, that's why Professor Jesse Odoto would tell me, say that. He said, Popka, if I were to study during your time, I won't make first class. He told me that categorically. Understand? So our national budget, the truth is this, as a scientist and as a lover of Nigeria, if left for me, the national budget is not even near to helping the situation.
Is it that the country doesn't have the money, or they cannot increase the budget when it comes to education?
This is what happened. The people that are even leading us, how educated are they? That's another question you have to ask yourself. How educated are they? What did they value? I said earlier, University of Glasgow, as of 2020 October, contributed to the United Kingdom economy with 4.4 billion pounds. 4.4. Are you with me?
Very well.
I say University of Glasgow, as of 2021, contributed to United Kingdom economy $4.4 billion pounds. That university, if you convert that 4.4 billion to naira, it is how many trillion? Don't forget, in the whole of United Kingdom, there are about 65 million people. 65 million people. And I said it earlier, if you go there, as I think 1980 or so, the least budget that United Kingdom had from that time was 40 billion pounds. By that time, they are not up to 65 million. United Kingdom comprises of England, Scotland, Wales. Yes, Wales and another island also. If I'm not mistaken, this is the United Kingdom. That's made the population about 65 million or so. So look at it. Here in Scotland, we are about 5.5 million. So you look at it. So if you're asking me about the budget, we have to increase budget. And how are we going to increase budget? Now, this is why you're asking me as a technocrat to talk, because we can't keep on borrowing money and borrowing money and borrowing money. You understand? Nigerian source of income need to change. It's high time we stop consuming, we begin to start producing. How are we going to start production? Don't forget, in 1984, I was watching 1984, 2 naira was equivalent to £1.
But in 2022,
yes, 82 also, 2 naira was equivalent to £1.
In 2022 now,
and 2022 now, I think the minimum is £750, 750 naira per pound. Look at how it's devalued. Was, I think, in 1976, 80 kobo was $1. What is happening? What has happened? Look at it. At those times, there is good agriculture. Cocoa, rubber, you understand? Cotton, you getting me? The cash crop. We have the cash crops. We export. So Nigeria have to go back. We need to the over dependence of the crude oil, and this crude oil, don't forget, it has impact on the environment. So me, if you ask me now, Papka, if you are given the opportunity to revamp Nigerian system of economic system, you understand? I'm going to give more influence, more priority on solid minerals. We have solid minerals on the soil. Go to Zamfara, there is gold in Zamfara State. It's not only the south.
Papka is already entering his campaign promises for.
No, I'm saying the fact. You understand?
Mr. Papka, we are not in the field for campaign. We are not here to campaign, but meanwhile, our time is fast spent. We are supposed to be spending 1 hour 30 minutes, but we already we have spent 1 hour 31 minutes. So we'll just have to probably stop here for now, and we hope to bring you back to the studio so that you can tell the world and Nigeria at large that you got something upstairs. With the little I've discussed with you today, it's been an awesome time. I want to say a very big thank you to you. Despite your busy schedule, you were still able to find out time to join us inside Tim-Osa Media Studio. It's been an awesome time here trying to deal with the issue of educational system in Nigeria. Who are we to blame? Lastly, before you go tonight, Mr. Ijabla Papka Pius, what do you have to tell the viewers out there? What is your final word and what is your advice for them? Thank you.
My final word is that we should forget the past, but use the past as a blueprint to build upon the future. Forgetting is not enough. We have to use it as a blueprint to build upon the future, because the present leaders failed. At their prime, they did well, but as time goes on, they fail. So we also have to change and begin to adapt to modern ways of growth and development. And if that is the case, we have to be able to borrow technology, borrow intellect from the Western world, and take away selfish.
Mr. Papka, can you hear me? 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 I think, are you muted?
Hear me?
Okay, it's okay now. It's like you were muted before.
Oh, I don't know what happened. I said I lost connection.
Okay.
Okay, I said so that the child of nobody can become somebody without knowing anybody. And Africa, Nigeria will be free, because we ourselves is the threat to our own freedom and our own development. Thank you, viewers at home. This is all I have to say. Until next when we meet.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ijabla Papka Pius, for your time. It's been awesome here in Tim-Osa Media Studio, and I guess this evening I has actually dealt with the issues of issues that is confronting our educational system in Nigeria, though we have not provided a solid solution to the problem. So hopefully, a few weeks from now, that 2-3 weeks time, we're going to bring him back to talk to the audience about the solution and also the way forward. This is coming from me to you. Education is not a scam. Our leaders might be misbehaving, I must say, out there. That doesn't mean that you should write off education. Education is still paying, and we should embrace education. The students, I'm shocked that Mr. Papka did not actually talk about the issue of the ASU strike that has been lingering for quite a number of time now. I think it's time for the student to rise up and fight for their rights. Students, I'm saying this now, it's time for you to rise up, fight for what absolutely belongs to you. Is your right to go to school. Imagine the speaker of the house, or I think the Senate president, saying that the ASU strike should not affect the primary election and everything that has to do with election in the country. That is totally absurd, and that should be that should be talked about and should be dealt with in the country. So it's time for each and everyone to stand up. If you have been sleeping, it's time for you to arise. Fight for what belongs to you. Fight for your children that are yet unborn. It's time for you to fight those that are enemies of our educational sector. All their children, they are not in Nigeria studying, they are outside the country. I was opportune to meet with some of them I think the last 2 Saturdays, and come. If boredom want to kill them here, but they don't want to return back home. They are all here studying, doing all sorts of things. So it's time for, according to Papka, the son of nobody gets what he or she wants without knowing anybody. From Tim-Osa Media Studio, I want to say thank you for joining us. If you have not subscribed to our various channels in our YouTube, you can subscribe to Tim-Osa Media, and also on our Facebook page, Tim-Osa Media. It's been a wonderful time, and we hope to see you again same time. I'm sorry for taking about 7 or 8 minutes of your time. We'll see you again, same time, same social media handle, but with a different topic next week. But for now, have a good night rest. Bye from our studio here. Thank you very much, and God bless you.